So we're 2 weeks into the nipple-sizzling sensation known as Blade's release in Season 3.5 of Marvel Rivals, and I gotta be completely honest with you, I think it's about time we had that conversation of what the tier list is looking like. But before I get into that comment section, I have to ask a question since Blade is out, and we already know there's only been one Blade, there's only ever gonna be one Blade. But what's gonna come out first? Y'all be the deciders. The Blade movie that they announced, or the Blade video game that you forgot, you admit it, you forgot, they announced the Blade video game. He was in a chair. He was getting a nice little lineup, getting his beard cut. And yeah, y'all forgot that was announced. Which one comes out first? But let's get to the tier list. So this tier list might be formatted a little bit different than what a lot of you guys are accustomed to because we're going in alphabetical order. Why? Because we already know NetEase's best ELO agents can't do anything in alphabetical order because they don't know their ABCs. So they can't hit you outside of the game with misinformation to tank your ELO, much like they do inside of the game when they go full ELO agent. So that being said, let's start off with the main man, Adam Warlock. Listen, I'm not going to take too long on each character. We're going to power through this. This guy got better with the buffs. Now, granted, you may be saying, well, if he got better and he can reduce his cooldowns with his left click, with headshots, he can reduce it with his right click, what's not to love about Adam Warlock? You know what's better than bringing everybody back from a fight you lost? Not losing the fight in the first place. And there's too many support ults in the game in their current form where you just don't lose. You turn the game into an 8 to 12 second ad break where nobody on your team can die and you can just auto sustain and auto win the fight, which is much better than being off position behind a wall, safely bring everybody back with more health, granted, and being able to have Soul Link, which is a great cooldown. But let's be honest, then having to retake and refight, it's often not even worth the resources unless you're running this dude as a third support. However, in the solo queue lifestyle, that is typically just not the case. But he is a hit scan. He can take out flyers, so that's cool with him. But let's get to the A tier. Let's get to some big bad Black Panther. We already know many people, they just can't keep track of this character. They hear the whoosh, 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 and they're like, what? Where? And they're lost. And the next thing you know, they're in the spawn room. They have no idea what happened. They get slash dashed and kicked in the ass, and there's just no hope for him. Now, he was nerfed by giving him better sound cues so we can all hear him in the headphones. Turn up your headphones, ladies and gentlemen. But unfortunately, for a lot of people, that is not enough. This guy can definitely solo carry some games and just solo lobbies, which is why basically every support player is still saying, ban this black man at all costs. If it's melanin, we ain't gonna let him in unless it's Blade. But we'll get there when we get there. We have Black Widow, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I know some people are going to say D tier. Some people are going to say it's a versatile pick, even though it's often a throw. I'm definitely going to put you in C. Now, the reason why they're in C is because I still think that they can get value with their headshots. The problem is you have to be so much better than the competition to really get value out of this character, unless you have Mantis giving you the damage boost for the entirety of the match. But then you're putting all of your eggs in one basket because now you're going to have one of your supports constantly babysitting and looking and hard focusing on keeping the Widow up and alive and damage boosted. So a lot of your resources are going to be going there. Now, Mantis does have some really cool team ups in her kit this season with Loki and Groot, which makes Groot amazing and Loki somehow even better. So not saying that it's a bad pick to have Mantis on your team, but if you're going strictly for the Widow, it's not going to be that great. Now, if we're just talking about the base kit of Hulk and Bruce Banner, B tier. I don't think anybody's going to sit here and argue that. He doesn't do anything that's oppressive. He's not turning the metagame on its head by himself. The best thing that we're seeing from him is the consistent disruption, the ability to shield teammates who are low, get them out of fights, get himself out of fights, and be able to somewhat contest flyers. Exile is a pretty good move, but ultimately, no one's saying, oh my God, a Hulk player, no! That's typically not something that you're going to be hearing in your team chats, if at all, because apparently no one joins team chat anymore. I don't know if it's everyone's just in their Discord or they're just on their social media scrolling through Tinder because baddies with fatties who might look back at it and call him daddy are hitting them up at record time. I don't know. But regardless, that's not something that you're hearing too much of. But I will say, the team up that he has with Namor, or in the previous seasons where he had it with Iron Man, that alone is going to put him in A tier. Some would say S. I think that's dragging it. I do think with his ult, he can do a lot of stalling on the point, and that's great. But I don't see anything where I'm like game breaker right there. Cap, everything I just said about stalling, being on the point, being able to provide protection with his ult, being able to just not die, literally be in the back line doing it all day. Doesn't care if he's in Gotham City, doesn't care if he's in New York, doesn't care if he's in the Dragon Ball Z universe, doesn't care if Lord Frieza's calling him a monkey. It doesn't matter. He's back there running all day, every day, twice on Sundays. Yeah, this guy is a menace. He's punching your back line. He just punched your Luna Snow in the face again. What are you going to do about it? Man, your Emma grabbed him. Your Hulk booped him. He's still running around back there. Absolute menace. Cloak and Dagger, a lot of people will put him in the S tier. I'm putting him in A because they are gate kept by two ults. One of them being Magneto, and the other one kind of being Maximum Pulse. And it's the easiest of the support ults for Punisher players to actually just melt. So I can't necessarily say that their ult is omnipresent because there's certain things that do shut them down. But given their utility of Light Bubble being basically a 5-second cooldown, and the only nerf to bring her in line is have her bubble work the way every other cooldown works in the game. Have it be when the bubble leaves, then the 11-second cooldown starts. That's all you would have to do, and it'd be perfect. But A tier character for sure. Strange, utility is great. Having the portal, being able to get back to spawn, having a nice shield, being able to block a lot of the peskier ults like a Star Lord, Ella ult by just floating up, putting up a shield, having a top 5 ult in the game, the big stun, the Eye of Agamotto. I don't really think anybody's really going to complain about me putting him in A tier. Now, they've been nerfed a bit, but I just believe the overall totality of his kit just comes packed with too much utility for me to put him down here in B. I just don't see it. He could very well be B, but I'm going to stick with my gut. He's in A. S. Groot's in S mainly because, let's be honest, a couple seasons ago when he was the auto pick and not everybody was running Wolverine, especially in the games where Wolverine was banned, this guy was a menace. This guy was feasting. He was eating good. And now that he's been given a team up with Mantis to have another wall that now heals him even more. No, I don't want to see him. If we don't perma-gran Wolverine, we got a perma-ban Groot. I don't want to see this guy. I don't want to see no trees. I'm not green eggs and having it. Leave him behind. Don't want to see him. Hawkeye's kind of in the same boat with Black Widow. Cool, but given the buffs that he had at the beginning of season 3 with the Luna team up, they said, let's go and dial some of these things back. And now he's just kind of okay. He's adequate. He does his job. It's all right. But once again, he's one of those characters where you have to be so much significantly ahead of the rest of the lobby, and the rest of the lobby has to be making some pretty poor positioning mistakes for you to really get the full amount of value that Hawkeye can provide, compared to any other DPS that hits headshots. Speaking of that, we got Hela. I would put them in the S tier, but there's a certain hero who has an ultimate that literally just denies their ultimate, and people overall have gotten better of hearing Hell Unleashed and then skedaddling and getting out of the way, so it doesn't really rack up the big 5Ks that it used to. Still a great ult, but at best, maybe top of A, bottom of S, because she's been usurped, and her position as queen of the hit scans has kind of got some serious competition, given the fact that the other one has a lot of utility that we'll talk about later. We got Iron Fist. Some people are going to say that this is too low. Some of these people are going to say this is too high. I'm going to put them in C because I don't think they're terrible, but all the things that they're supposed to excel at, they don't. They don't shred the tanks like they used to. They don't really get as much utility as the compensation buff that they got for losing the Luna team up. So ultimately, the character's just kind of Everything they do is But given they're on a team that is playing around them, they do have moments where they can definitely excel. Their ult is still pretty decent, so I don't think that they're a terrible throw pick, but they're definitely kind of cotton fisting for a lot of the game. Iron Man, I think solid B tier pick. They lost the Gamma team up a couple seasons ago. I don't really think anybody's going to really say that they're one of the better flyers, given the fact that Storm exists with her S tier team up, given the fact that now that we know how to play Johnny Storm, that brother is one of the hardest people to hit. And if we're being completely honest, Iron Man doesn't have the ability to move fast and really do damage. So he's kind of easy pickings to just sit up there and just double dink with any of the hit scans in the game. So he's pretty mid. We got Jeff the Shark. If we're talking a super coordinated 6 6-man team where they all know each other's weaknesses. You know that she's not good at this, or he's not great at that, or she's really good at this, and this is where we're going to play around, and we need movement speed, and we're going to use the min max of the utility to get this character and our team into a better position for the next fight. Blah blah blah. This character could be top of A, bottom of S. I don't really think anybody's going to argue that, especially if you're running triple support. But if you're solo queue, double support, we're talking here at best, but I'm going to put him down here. I might even put him here. I'm not going to lie to you. When it comes to having only 2 supports, oftentimes Jeff is it's just a struggle. You're fighting an uphill battle. As Blade would say, ice skating uphill, and it's not going well. One of the best things you can see, especially if the enemy team is not running a storm, is a Jeff on the enemy team. You're like, thank God. I prayed for times like this. The ELO agent isn't here on my team this time. But like I said, with Flank Jeff being dead, given the nerfs, I would put them here, but realistically, they're probably in D solo queue wise. But there are arguments to put them in B. There are arguments for it, but I'm a Jeff hater. Hashtag surfs up, IQ down, because them Jeff players are not, they're not small. Anyways, moving on to Loki. Loki's a GOAT. Loki's one of the greatest to ever do it. What's better than one K-pop performance? An encore K-pop performance. Doing it 2 times. Say it 2 times. Your powers are mine. Being able to flank, being able to put up runes that make it to where it's 3 Baptiste lamps. And I don't know if you've ever been like a flanker or a melee character, like a Panther or a Blade, but if you're Blade and you get a jump on someone and then there's a Loki rune, have you ever tried to cut down the Loki rune? You could use 1,000 cuts. You can use all of your fancy tools and tricks. If you don't swap to the gun and use your 3 shots, you're going to be there cutting logs. You're going to go through an entire chapter of deforestation. You could pick up a career as a logger, and you would still have to find time to figure out how to get those runes down. It's not fun when they stun you out of your kill, and you're like, man, I almost had the kill, but now there's this rune here, and I got to deal with that. It's not really fun to deal with, but man, when you get saved by a rune, thank you, Loki. We love you. Luna Snow, I'm not even going to explain this. If you don't know why, then you don't know why. That's just it. Once again, if you can get an encore performance of one of the best ults in the game, it's Luna. Magic. Magic, I feel as though as a flanker, is potential woman. Like, the potential is there for you to just absolutely lock down an entire lobby. The potential is there because you have insta-kill combos. The potential is there because you can sit there, be cerebral, pick your spots, and heal yourself. But ultimately, I just don't think she's anything more than middle of the road. I think they're better than Iron Fist. Iron Fist, I think, is the worst person to ever go on flank jobs, especially given how they've been remolding their kit to be a tank buster, but they're not a tank buster, but it is what it is. You guys let me know how y'all feel about Magic. I still think she's middle of the road. Magneto, S tier. If you're going to solo tank, there's only really a couple tanks that you want to see in that position. Magneto is definitely one of them. There's so many ults in the game. Cloak and Dagger. Us against the world. Fear Magneto. Legend Fear Magneto. Judge Fear Magneto. There's a lot of Fear Magneto ults that he just doesn't care about. People can get caught out by a Panther, or they can get jumped in the back line by a Psylocke, and he could just bubble them out of sight, out of mind. He's got multiple ways to just completely obscure or mitigate or just outright stop damage incoming. So yeah, the guy's goated. He's well-rounded. We love that guy. Acknowledge your mutant chief. That's right, Charles Xavier. You're not top dog anymore. You've been usurped. Speaking of Mantis, once again, I would say Mantis is middle of the road. I would put them in B. But the team ups they give Loki, like you give Loki and Groot buffs, I don't know how I can, in good faith, not put you here. Like, even though your kit overall isn't great, but once again, as a third support, you're cooking. You're cooking. This is beautiful. This is everything we wanted. This might be the hottest take of the video. I don't know. We'll get there when we get there. But I think that this is a good spot for Mantis. Mantis stocks are up right now. Person whose stocks aren't up right now, Moon Knight. Some people would put Moon Knight here. I'm going to put them in mid. Not because I think they're a bad character, but more often than not, especially with people running triple support, this guy is an ult battery for the enemy backlines. I understand he has the potential to burst people down with onk right click, left click, and that's great and all. But oftentimes, this man's got 50,000 damage, but he's only got 18 eliminations. And every time we get into a pivotal part of a team fight where it's time for us to make moves and make plays, all three of the triple supporting enemy team, all three of them have their ults because there's just so much that they're able to heal because the Onk, the ricochets are all just hitting tanks. They're doing a lot of damage, but that means there's also a lot of heal potential on the enemy team. Therefore, we always feel as though we're not able to actually get the value out of the rest of the team's kit. But until they give him an ultimate like he had in season 2 where it was double hitting, something where if you're in the circle, there's a good chance you're dead. Until he has something like that, I don't really see him ever getting out of the B tier. Namor, that's an A tier character. Just being able to mark flankers, just being able to check certain angles and contest certain high grounds that other people can't without even having to put himself in danger by putting up double turret. Obviously, with Bruce Banner and Hulk giving him the team up for Gamma Squid, there will be some people who think they're on a sneaky, cheeky flank and they just get vaporized. Also, they sped up his left click and gave it a better trajectory. So hitting headshots has never been easier with this character. So he's kind of cooking in every way that you need to cook. If you're someone who's playing a backline disruptor, you really hate to see a Namor coming. Also, the fact that if the ult circle is on you, you can't use any movement abilities to get out of it, even though the fish is still in the air. The fact that it locks people down is really the unsung hero of that character's kit. Then we got Penny. Depending on the map, you could put him here, 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 here. Depending on the enemy's team composition, you can put them here, 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 or here. And they have way too many different versatile, like combustible elements and variables that they have to account for how good this character can be. So, as I said, I'll even put Jeff here. There's a lot, but I'm still a hater. Surfs up, IQ down. Psylocke, I don't have to explain this. It's everything that Panther is, but can turn invisible, can guarantee significant burst damage, and has a significantly better ult than Panther does. Let's be honest, this character's kind of cracked. Punisher, I want to put him here just because the DPS characters that are going to go here can just ruin entire lobbies, take over entire games, and Punisher is close to being able to do that, especially since he can handle Groot very well and he can shred a lot of the defensive options in the game. But outside of certain maps, he's just kind of okay. He doesn't do anything exceptionally well, and he doesn't really have any defensive utility that stops him from just exploding. And trust me, as a Punisher player, you can explode. And remember what I said about fear? Yeah, trust me, there's a lot of fear Magneto going your way too, pal. Rocket Raccoon, there's a certain character in this game that makes me want to put you in B. But if that character is not present, this character is an A. The fact that they buff the ult, so now it heals and it does damage, and he's one of the hardest supports to actually get to. If you're diving the back line, this guy can juke you. This guy can climb up walls. He can rocket boost around. And oftentimes he has more resources in his kit than the people who are chasing him. So you'll chase him for a little bit and then you're out of cooldowns and then you might get caught out. Then they're like, yeah, Panther no dash in the back. And then everyone can just turn around and you're just free eats until you get your cooldowns back. So yeah, I still think that this dude is really good. Now, when we get to that certain character, we might have to talk about moving them down, but as of right now, I'm okay with this. Wanda, mid, with the Strange team up, all right, you might be able to say top of B, but top of B, bottom B, the middle of the road. Spider-Man, while I do understand some people say A tier because yes, he can pull you off the map and insta kill you. Yes, he can pull you away from your team and put you in a compromised position where you have to deal with him and potentially another flanker in a coordinated dive. Yes, I understand that, he come out of nowhere, RKO your backline, hit you with the zip zop, uppercut, zip zop, yo-yo combo. I understand that. But ultimately speaking, a lot of what he has to do is get somebody away in a 1v1 situation or gank them into a situation where a lot of things kind of have to go right to pull them off the edge. And I don't really think that's necessarily a good design philosophy to what you want to hedge your game plan on. So I'm just gonna put them in mid of the road. Don't think they're great. Don't think they're terrible. Yes, they have a lot of upside, much like Magic. I think this is like potential man. Like potentially on paper, you could ruin the entire lobby, but I can't put him up there. On certain maps, Doreen Green, really cool, really solid character. I don't think many people are gonna argue about this, but she's okay. Not great, not terrible, okay. Star Lord, a lot of people might be down on Star Lord given the fact that, once again, Fear Magneto is a thing. And I 100% understand that. But he can build ult very fast. If you have your own Magneto, you can go in, get bubbled, use your shoot everywhere move, get a bunch of ult charge, and you can outpace the support ults in order to actually get value very quickly, very consistently. Also, the ability to one clip squishies is something that I will always value, especially in a hero shooter. Being able to see somebody, get to them quickly, fry them, and then get back to your team quickly, I think is a very underrated part of his kit. Now, his ult, obviously not being that great because he doesn't have the best mobility during his ult. He's got that slow drift speed, and once again, here, Magneto. And if they have good shielding and, someone's actually paying attention to protecting the rest of the team and they have, good support ults, you're not going to be able to do anything. And you can always just be triple dinked by Phoenix, Ella, etc. Storm, I don't know how Storm is going under the radar here, but like she didn't get super nerfed. She's still really good. The only thing that's really kind of checking her is the fact that people are running triple support and the supports are really good at just pressing the Q button. When you press the Q button, and therefore by proxy, it's harder for you to get value, but she cleaves so much damage. She can get so much damage. If they're playing relatively clumped up, she can get ult like every 25, 30 seconds and just be ult spamming quickly. And she does a lot of damage. And when another flyer is in her face or someone's trying to jump her, she could put the bug zapper on. And man, she's a tough cookie. I'll tell you that. Speaking of bug zappers, I think Thor with his buffs this season being the fact that in good Thors can basically perpetually the entire game be in the awakening state, that is a scary dude. Now, on average, they're probably mostly B tier, but I'm gonna put him in A. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because I feel as though like maximum potential, this character is really good. Obviously, not gonna be part of the S tier tanks because we know someone else who's gonna be up there very soon. It's not Venom. I think Venom is very solid. The fact that he got the easy zip coordination between before you had to choose between easy zip or non-easy zip. Now you can map both to two different buttons. So before, if you want to do his quick little kill combo, you would have to look up and it would give a visual tell of, oh, he's about to zip up and then try to zip down. But now since he has easy zip, he doesn't have to do that. So now he can be looking at you and he can just do it real fast and you can't react to it because there was no tell. Bucky, man, I'm gonna still say Bucky is in the A tier. Like I think he was B the entirety of the game, but then they gave him a second red projectile, which resets his ammo count, so he can go shot, 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 pum, shot, 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 pum, shot, shot, shot into other things that reset his cooldowns, and the fact that again is such a great ult. And given how prominent Loki has been, there's a lot of again that can happen. Again, potential is through the roof. And obviously, being able to chunk people down for damage, I think, is always going to have a good spot on any team. Wolverine S tier, I don't have to explain it. He keeps all these S tier tanks in check and all the other tanks kind of in a lot of pain. So, once again, we can move on. Some people have Mr. Fantastic here. This might be my hot take. He might be like, I don't want to say bottom of A, but I'm going to put him in B. Mainly because his survivability is insane. The fact that he can push people who are in some pretty decent positions and just go, come here, brother. Let me hug you. Come here, sister. Let me hold your hand real quick. And walk around like this on the point and stall objectives. I always think that he's going to be pretty good. I definitely think he's a league above these three. But once again, y'all let me know. Susan, the only reason why you're not S tier is because you don't have Dance Party as an ultimate, and you don't have Copy Dance Party as an ultimate thing, I want to say A. That's what my heart wants to say. So I'm gonna say it. The fact that he is now has the ability to check flyers, which was something that he just had no answer to before, which is like the one big blemish that was on his kit in previous seasons. Now that that's been patched up and he's able to just run rampant, yeah, I think bro's kind of cold. I think he's solid. I really like him there. I feel good about that. This dude, I want to put him in S. I do. He might be A, but I really want to give him the S. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's one of the hardest flyers to hit. He's got so much mobility. He can basically be using his boosters the entirety of the game. He can burst people through support ults. He can burst people just at will. He has an entire flame carpet, AoE, just a huge area of denial. He gets a lot of utility all the time. His uptime is basically infinite, provided you know how to pilot him. And that weird melee thing he does with his hitbox getting all jiggly, he's really hard to hit, even for solid hit scan players. Emma, I don't need to explain it. Once again, all those tanks that walk up in her face, yoked up. Cap, yoked up. Panther in your back line, yoked up. Snow Bunny mind control stocks are through the roof. I kind of feel the same way about Ultron that I do Jeff. Like, very coordinated, triple support comps, cool. But solo queue, duo comps, most of these people are just trying to click heads because they wanted to click DPS, but two or three people clicked it already and they don't want to be the fourth DPS. So then they just pick Ultron so they can live their DPS fantasies by proxy. I don't know. I feel like you existing puts you at the top of A. I'm gonna just put you there. Everything I said about Hela, translate to Phoenix, except Phoenix says, yeah, I don't care about your amplifier rocket, don't care about that at all, and can get rid of Hela's ultimate. So Hell Unleash, and you can tell her, sit down. We're not doing that. Bunch of Groot walls, you can blow them up. Being able to have the utility of just blowing up any structure is just kind of godlike. So therefore, by proxy, I have to give it to her. And on those maps that Squirrel Girl excels at, where people are going to be in these corridors, tightly packed up like sardines, just being able to go boom, boom, boom. If nothing else, we're going to put her in ST just because of the amount of dopamine that you get from that. Now, my boy Blade, you're my guy. You're my big dog. And this might be the hottest take that I have. Once again, like Jeff and Ultron, and fully coordinated, playing for one goal, the win, not for selfish stats, not for trying to push themselves to be MVP or SVP, truly playing together as a cohesive unit for the win only. I think this character could be A tier. Maybe S, because I overvalue it, but anything that can truly affect how much somebody gets healed on the opposite team, I will always value that heavy. No matter how many times they nerfed or found a way to gimp Anna's grenade in Overwatch, somehow that character was always somebody I wanted on my team. I think that having an anti or a way to just diminish how much somebody heals is huge, and being able to coordinate that with a Groot ult, or being able to coordinate that with any sort of CC in the game, like a thing ult, whatever it may be. I think it's great because it also forces a lot of the supports to have to ult, because then you have pressure that follows up when you use your vampire stance and you're in there cutting people down. So yeah, I think it could be here, but ultimately, like solo queue, regular people playing the character, just in ranked ladder, I'm gonna go B. I don't think he's quite here. I don't see it. Maybe it's because I play Blade and maybe I'm blind. I could be blind. Maybe I need the sunglasses for a reason, but ultimately, that's how I'm feeling right now. If I had to put Penny in a non-versatile spot, I'm gonna put him in B. I feel like there's a lot of characters in A this season, and I feel like a lot of the characters in this game can shine and they are powerful. I don't feel as though there's too many characters where I'm like, you're dog water and have no utility at all. But I do think the characters up here are insane. Like S tier is like, there's something about you that is just insane. So I could understand if you want to bring Captain America down to A, but otherwise, I feel good about this. This is my list. This is how I'm feeling about the game. These are not in order, okay? These are just around approximate power levels. And if you disagree, y'all let me know, and I'll catch y'all next time. Or not. Maybe I'll get banned from the platform by then. Who knows? I'll find out with the rest of you.